Now, listening to this, Stanley had an idea. He explained it to Mr. Dart. "Excellent," said Mr. Dart. "We'll try out your plan tonight." Now, Stanley had an idea and Mr. Dart liked his idea, but we don't know what the idea was. So, we'll have to see what the idea was and how Stanley helped Mr. Dart. Mr. Dart said, "I will try your plan tonight." That evening, in the main hall of the museum, Mr. Dart showed Stanley the most expensive painting in the world. Next to it was an empty picture frame. "And now, Stanley, it's time for your disguise." So now, Mr. Dart ने उसे Stanley को बहुत expensive painting, मतलब बहुत महंगी painting, a very valuable piece of art, वो दिखाया. Okay? And he said, the thieves might come to steal this valuable piece of art. So now it's time for your disguise. Now, because Stanley is flat, if you will stick on a frame, it will not look like a human is standing there. It will just look like as if just another painting. So Mr. Lambchop said, "It's time for your disguise." मतलब तुम्हें किसी और की तरह ready होना होगा, किसी और की तरह कपड़े पहनने होंगे, not the ones that you're wearing. Stanley showed Mr. Dart the disguise he had brought. "This is a really good one. My cowboy hat and a red bandana." The one that he's wearing. "I'm sorry, Mr. Dart, but we don't have cowboy pictures here." So Mr. Dart said, "But we don't have cowboy pictures here, so you have to wear what I have got for you." Stanley could hardly speak when he saw Mr. Dart's disguise. "I look like a girl," he said. But Stanley was a good sport, so he put it on. He wasn't very happy about this girlish dress, but Stanley was a good sport. Means he was always up to try new things. So he wasn't very happy about it, but he still tried it because he was a good sport. So let me see who is a good sport. How? So would you like to dress up as a girl and girls would like to dress up as boys? Are you a good sport? So this is a girlish dress with some nice hat. And I like the shoes. So there is Stanley, how beautiful he looks. In the main hall, Stanley climbed onto the empty picture frame and stood very still. "Very nice," said Mr. Dart, and went off to arrange the rest of their plan. So Mr. Dart said, "Very nice." Now Stanley was alone. Okay, now Stanley was all alone there. The hall was very dark. Hall में बहुत अंधेरा था. But enough moonlight was coming through the windows for him to see the world's most expensive painting. But enough moonlight was coming so he could see the painting that, remember, Mr. Dart showed him that this is a very expensive painting. So he could see that painting. Maybe the sneak thieves won't come, he thought. Then उसने सोचा कि शायद वो thieves आज नहीं आएंगे. और तभी then creak, a glow of yellow light shone suddenly in the center of the hall. A trapdoor had opened in the floor. The sneak thieves, carrying lanterns, came up into the hall. Now the thieves have come. There are two of them. And this is Stanley on the empty painting frame. Let's see what happens next. The thieves took the world's most expensive painting off the wall. "This is it, Max," said the first thief. पहले thief ने बोला, "This is it, Max," said the first thief. उस first thief का नाम था Luther. "In all this great city, there is no one to suspect us. इस पूरी सिटी में there is no one to suspect us. किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा कि ये हमने किया है. Then Luther saw Stanley in his frame. उतने में लूथर ने स्टैनली को देखा फ्रेम में. And he said, I thought sheep girls are supposed to smile, Max. This one looks scared. उसने बोला, he looked like a sheep girl, no? So, I thought the sheep girls were supposed to smile. Sheep girls तो smile करती हैं, उनकी paintings होती हैं. But ये वाली sheep girl तो scared लग रही है. So, when Stanley heard all this, he managed a tiny smile. छोटी सी एक smile उसने manage करी. छोटी सी smile. Max said, she is smiling, sort of. And what a pretty little thing she is. And she looks beautiful. What a pretty little thing she is. And that made Stanley furious. Now they were appreciating Stanley being a girl. So that made him furious. In his loudest voice, he shouted, Police! Mr. Dart! The sneak thieves are here! Stanley shouted. Okay? What made him angry? When these thieves were appreciating him being a girl. That made him really, really, really furious. Max, Luther whispered. I heard the sheep girl yell. Max, मुझे लगता है जो sheep girl है वो चिल्लाई अभी. Oh boy, yelling pictures. We both need a rest. उसने बोला, we both need a rest. किसने बोला? Max, the thief. Max whispered back. You'll get a rest, all right. Mr. Dart had come now. Because Stanley shouted, so Mr. Dart had come. And Mr. Dart said, you will get a rest, all right. Rushing in with lots of policemen. बहुत सारे policemen लेकर के आए वो. You'll get arrested. That's what, he said. You will not get a rest. You will get arrested by the police. The sneak thieves were quickly handcuffed and led away to jail. जल्दी से उनके हाथ बांधे और उन्हें जेल लेके गए. The next morning, Stanley Lambchop got a medal from the chief of police. The day after that, his picture was in all the newspapers. See, a picture was in all the newspapers, and he got a medal for his bravery and his good idea. He helped in catching these two thieves, Max and Luther. So which one do you think is Max? For a while, Stanley was famous. People would point him out and whisper, over there, Agnes, Stanley Lambchop, the one who caught the museum robbers, and things like that. People kept saying good things about him because he did something good. But after some time, people began to make fun of him. Hi, super skinny! Some would call him some other names. For some time, see, he's happy because people are saying good things about him because of the good thing that he did. But also there are people, after some time, who started calling him names. Like, hi, super skinny. Late one night, Arthur woke to the sound of Stanley crying. Now, because people were calling him names. And Stanley was not happy. He was really upset and he was crying one night. And Arthur heard him. That's his brother Arthur. What's wrong? He said. Stanley sighed and said, I want to be a regular shape again, like other people. It's not fair. Stanley ने बोला, मुझे भी बाकी लोगों की तरह नॉर्मल होना है, बिल्कुल नॉर्मल शेप का होना है. It's not fair. Arthur, being a very good brother, Arthur said, don't be upset. You are a brave boy. You are brave. You really are. And then Arthur had an idea. Now Arthur has an idea. He turned on the light and ran to the big toy box in the corner. He tossed aside toy soldiers, aeroplanes, and boat models. Got it, he said, holding up an old bicycle pump. So Arthur had an idea, and Arthur went to a corner where his toy box was kept. So he was looking for something in the toy box. So he took out a toy soldier, he kept it aside, then the aeroplanes, then the boat models, and in the end he got what he was looking for. वो क्या ढूंढ रहा था? He got an old bicycle pump. So what do we do with the bicycle pump? Do you have any idea? You know, when you get the flat tires, especially for your bicycle, है ना? So your tire gets flat. मतलब टायर में से हवा चली जाती है. So this is used to fill the air back in. So this is a pump which gives the air out. So he had an idea. So he decided that like the way we use it for the tires of the bicycle, we are going to use it for you, Stanley. So this is what they were going to do. What do you think? What do you think will happen right after this? Okay, Stanley said after a moment. Stanley was ready to try Arthur's idea. But take it easy, he said, कि आराम से करना. He stood with the end of the hose in his mouth. End of the hose उसने मुंह पे रखा. Clamping his lips tight से बंद किया उसे lips से, so that no air could escape. Arthur began to pump. ऐसे pump करते हैं. You put your feet here and then you pump, just like you use your water sprinkler, that pichkari during Holi. If it hurts or anything, wiggle your hand, okay? Arthur said, अगर दर्द हुआ या कुछ भी होता है, अपना हाथ हिलाना, because your mouth is closed with the hose. Stanley's top half began to swell up. Stanley का body, यहाँ पे वाली body, top half, ऐसे फूलने लगी. Stanley got bigger and bigger. His pajama buttons burst off. Pop, pop, pop. धीरे धीरे उसके buttons देखो खुलने लगे ऐसे. Pop, pop, pop.